ask you something. Have you ever landed on a website and you felt genuinely excited about what you saw, but you didn't book, you didn't go further in contacting the person, you just closed the tab and told yourself you would come back later, and you probably didn't come back. It's not because you didn't like the person or because the offer was bad, but probably because something felt unclear or maybe risky. And your brain, which is wired to protect you, said, not sure, not quite yet. And that's what we're talking about today. How buyers actually decide who to trust and why making them feel good about you is only half the job. So let's talk about the emotion myth. There is this big idea in the marketing industry that if you make people feel something, they will buy. And it's not wrong because emotion is absolutely part of the decision, the buying decision, but it's not the whole story. And treating it like it is leaves a lot of money on the table because not all buyers are emotional buyers. Here's what actually happens in a buyer's brain when they land on your website or read your offer, your sales page. First, they feel something, curiosity, recognition, excitement, maybe. And they think, oh, this might be for me. Then immediately, almost without realizing it, they start looking for reasons not to buy. And it's not because they're being fussy or difficult. It's just the nervous system, how the nervous system is wired and the nervous system doing its job. Every purchase, especially a high-ticket service, especially when someone is hiring an expert, feels like a risk. And the brain's job is simply to reduce the risk. So they start asking questions in their head. Is this actually for someone like me? Or is this a generic offer and it's just words? Can I really trust? Do I understand exactly what I'm getting? Or am I going to have to email and ask 5 follow-up questions? Is that person going to chase me after and try to trick me into buying? What happens after I click? Do I really know what I'm getting myself into? Has this worked for someone who looks like me, whose life situation is similar with my kind of business, my kind of problem? And if your website or your offer page does not answer those questions clearly, the emotion fades and they leave. And once again, not because you did anything wrong or they didn't like you, just because your copy didn't make it safe enough to say yes. So here are the 4 things that actually make a prospect become a client. You're probably wondering what will make them feel safe to say yes. It's 4 things, and none of them are complicated. They're just missing from most websites that I'm seeing. Number 1 is relevance. Your prospect needs to feel within about 3 seconds of landing on your page that this is specifically for them, their situation, their specific problem. The more specific you are about who you help and what their life looks like before they work with you, the more a prospect thinks, oh, this person gets it. And the more non-qualified prospects, that's to say a non-ideal client, self-selects out, which, by the way, is exactly what we want. That's not wrong. Vague copy doesn't feel safe. It feels like a gamble. But specific copy feels like you've done this before and you know exactly what you're doing and who needs it. Number 2, clarity. This one is so obvious that people consistently underestimate it. If someone has to think to understand your offer, they won't. They will assume it's not for them, or maybe that it's too complicated, or that they will figure it out later. But later is never. Clarity means that they know what the offer is, what they get, what changes for them on the other side when they have worked with you, and what to do next. What step do they need to take? All of that without having to scroll 3 times or send you an email to ask. I have a client who is a therapist. He's had his website for 3 years. It got traffic, people visited, no one booked from his website. But after we worked on the copy together, he had bookings within 2 months and a click-through rate of 10%. So click-through rate is basically the ratio between the number of visitors who are just seeing his website on Google and those who are actually clicking because the preview is catching their attention. 10% in an industry where 4 to 6% is considered good. The offer didn't change, the skills didn't change, the clarity did. Number 3, proof. So yes, testimonials, but specific ones, believable ones, those that are outcome-based, not just amazing service I highly recommend, because this is not going to help someone who's on the fence make a decision. What moves them forward is a result they can see themselves in. One of my clients got 150% more phone calls within 2 months. Another client got a client from the very first email in her sequence, and there was no discovery call needed. And those results mean something. They're specific enough to be credible and concrete enough to generate desire and certainty that it works. That's the kind of proof that reduces risk for a total stranger who has never heard of you and who is just landing on your website. And number 4, a clear next step that doesn't feel like a trap. So this is the one that most people get wrong. Your call to action is not just a button. It's like a promise. And if that promise feels vague or risky, people won't click. Get started tells them nothing. Book a free 20-minute audit where I will review your website and show you exactly what's holding you back tells them everything. They know what they're walking into. They know it's free. They know it's short and that they will leave with something useful even if they don't hire you. That's a low risk, no-brainer next step. And low-risk next steps get clicked. That's the first step to get into your world. This matters for your content strategy because we're going to connect this to something bigger. And this episode is so important for anyone creating content to grow their business. Most people think about social media content as a visibility tool. You post, you get seen, someone follows you, maybe at some point they purchase, they hire you. And that can work, of course, but it's slow, it's unpredictable, and it stops the second you stop posting. And I'm not even talking about the risk of having your account go down or be blocked by bots. But there is another way to think about content, not as a broadcast to a wide audience, but as a silent sales conversation happening at exactly the right moment when your prospect needs it. When someone searches on Google or asks an AI tool assistant, why is my website not bringing in clients, for example? And your blog post is the answer they find. Yes, you're going to be getting traffic, but most importantly, that's a conversation because these people are already aware that they have a problem. They are already looking to understand and what solution could help them. So your content just has to do what we talked about in this episode. Be relevant, clear, show proof, and give them the next obvious next step. And that's why I focus so much on SEO, sales copy, long-term, long-form content for my clients. It's not to talk badly about social media. Social media does work, but it doesn't work for everyone. And also, a blog post that is found on Google works on a Tuesday afternoon when you're with a client. It works at 2 a.m. when someone can't sleep and is Googling their business problem or whatever problem that you solve. It works 6 months from now or 3 years from now when someone finds it through a Pinterest pin or an AI search result. You write it once. It has a conversation with your ideal client in their head on repeat without you being in the room, being behind your laptop or your phone. And that's not passive income. That's a passive sales conversation that keeps happening. And it's one of the most underrated tools in a service provider's marketing toolkit. So if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, but where do I actually start? Here is what I want you to do. Go to your website right now and pull up your main offer page. Read it like a stranger, not like someone who built the offer and knows every detail of what it does. Read it like someone who doesn't know you, who landed on that page for the first time and has never ever heard of you. Someone who's trying to figure out in a few seconds whether this is worth their time or not. And ask yourself within 3 seconds, can I tell exactly what this is, who it's for, and what changes for me if I buy it? Is there a clear, specific step that tells me what happens after I click? Is there proof that this has worked for someone like me? If any of those answers are no, or kind of, maybe I think so, that's where you're losing clients. Your offer is good, but your copy is not showing your visitors, your prospects, how good it is. If you want to know specifically what's costing you clients on your website right now, I offer a free 20-minute website audit. Before we even get on a call, I'll review your site, your Google presence, and then we spend 20 minutes going through exactly what's holding you back, whether that's vague copy, missing SEO points, a confusing layout, or maybe all of that. You will walk away knowing what to fix, what to prioritize, and what it would look like to work together if that feels right. And if it doesn't, you will still leave the audit with a clear picture of what your website needs, no pressure, no pitch, just a real look at what's happening. You can book your free audit via the link in the description. And if you found this episode helpful, share it with your business bestie, a service provider who's been posting on social media every day and is wondering why their website isn't doing anything. This might be the episode that changes how they think about it. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.